What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's get straight to the point. Talk about some ridiculous Belarusian propaganda. Different countries, same level of ridiculousness. Long story short, one of the local cafes, they kinda decided to create a new item on the menu. They took shawarma, removed the insides, just the center of it, and they put inside cappuccino, coffee. And they call it shawarmachino. The local residents of Minsk, Belarus, they were kinda bamboozled with this creation. Very brave ones decided to try it, and so this is like 2 in 1. You have a food and at the same time you have a drink. And so this 2 in 1 combination, you end up paying only for one item, so some people called it a genius marketing trick, others called it a total abomination. Guys, let me know down below in the comments if you would like to try shawarmachino or not. Okay, this was not that much of a clown show today, but it's enough talking about it. Now let me give you a brief update from the south and the east of Ukraine. First of all, if you remember, there were forest fires in Kherson region, and right here, for example, is the video showing consequences of one of these events, and the Russian 130mm M46, it was basically destroyed as a result of this fire. Then Ukrainians, using ATACMS, were able to find on Crimean Peninsula equipment repairing depot in Novostepovye. Well, you can imagine what happened to it. But probably the most significant event from the south is that Ukrainians were able to attack one of Russian ferries, which was connecting Krasnodar region and the Crimean Peninsula. Well, it is a very significant event. And so here is why. This is a military railway ferry in the Kavkaz port, and this one is called Slavenin, and this is the last remaining railway ferry that Russians had there, which they were using to transport military equipment on the Crimean Peninsula. So right now, I would not say that the Russian logistics to the Crimean Peninsula is completely destroyed right now, but since this was the last out of 3, this significantly complicates the logistics for the Z army. Pretty much one of the main options they have left right now is the Crimean Bridge itself, which, to be honest, they were not using that much recently, because it is a relatively easy target for Ukrainians, as you can see. So they were pretty much relying on these military railway ferries. Well, now all of them are destroyed. You can imagine how significantly much more complicated it became for Russians. And then right here is the video compilation by the security services of Ukraine, which shows them, which shows the result of their weekly work, which basically allowed them to completely put out of operation, let's call it like this, 18 Russian tanks, 37 armored vehicles, 37 artillery systems, 192 units of auto equipment, 120 enemy positions, and 181 Z soldiers. The full and obviously uncensored version of this compilation, guys, you will be able to find on my Patreon, in addition to hundreds of other photos and videos, which I upload there every single week. The link to my Patreon is down below. Now let's switch our attention to the eastern front lines, and first of all, right here is the video from Kharkov region, which shows the body cam footage of a Ukrainian soldier as they push the positions of Russians. In Pokrovsk, Ukrainians were also able to destroy a Russian mine-laying system called Zemlyedelye. And then we have a video from New York, located in Ukraine. Once again, yes, they have exactly the same name settlement as the one that in America. Long story short, Ukrainians using Bradleys are also pushing against the positions of Russians. In Donetsk, Ukrainians reportedly were able to target a small concentration of Russian troops, and then even more extraordinary things happened specifically in this one small region. First of all, right here is the video of Ukrainians destroying Russian air defense system called Tor M2, and then another video of also elimination of extremely expensive Russian Raider 1K-148 Yastrib AV, which is approximately worth of $250 million. As a result of this, the defenses of this piece of sky that the Russian aircrafts were using became much less significant. It was pretty much unprotected at all at this point. So Ukrainians, using simple manpads, were able to intercept a Russian Su-25 fighter jet. And ultimately is the picture of the current condition of one Ukrainian city called Toretsk. Well, what specifically makes this city so important is that not that long time ago, just several months ago, Russian propagandists were saying about different cities in Ukraine, but specifically they were also mentioning Toretsk as one of the cities where Russian-speaking Ukrainians are being bullied, are being prosecuted by the local authorities and by just the local residents. So they said that cities such as Toretsk is exactly why Russia had to start this special military operation, because they had to help people. Well, just by looking at the picture of Toretsk that it is right now, I would say that the local residents would gladly not accept the help of Russians, because even if they were prosecuted, followed by their neighbors for speaking Russian language, at least they had their apartments, they had their grocery stores, they had their schools. Well, Russians came, destroyed everything and say, don't thank us, we liberated you, so you're welcome. This is ridiculous. Next, let me give you just a couple of updates from the territory of Russia. We also have some significant events happening. First of all is the video from the Freedom of Russia Legion, when they were able to damage a particular railway section in Kidrovka-Sverdlovsky region. Next is the video from Shebekino-Belgorod region, where, as always, quote-unquote, Russians accidentally dropped one of their FABs, literally in the middle of the settlement. If you remember, we were talking about the attacks of Ukrainians against Morozovsk airfield located in Rostov region. Well, right now we do have the satellite images which confirm that this was a relatively successful attack. Particularly, most likely S-300 air defense and the parking lot for Su-34 aircrafts was either severely damaged or even destroyed. But most importantly, American satellites from Planet Labs, they were able to discover a brand new hidden military base of Russians. Well, at least they thought it was hidden, which is not that far from the actual front lines, only approximately 200 kilometers away. And well, this is the new position, new concentration of the Russian troops. They bring new conscripts there, new contract soldiers, they train them, so that it's not that relatively far to send them as fast as possible to the front lines. This military base is located in the city called Novocherkassk, and once again this is approximately 200 kilometers, 125 miles away from the front lines. The very first satellite images of this particular place appeared approximately in May 2024, and only in this a little bit over 2 months, Russians were able to construct a relatively big military base on the territory of ex-jail and 2 half-finished schools. So they took these territories, combined them, and well, turned them into military barracks, and now this is a brand new military base. But the very first time military equipment was spotted exactly on this territory was back in August 2023, where approximately 50 lorries carrying military equipment and also tent city was first spotted, but it was just, at least at that point, seeming like a temporary location of the Z soldiers. There was not significant construction going on, well, until recently. Most likely, this military base in Novocherkassk belongs to 100th Military Logistics Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces. It is once again located in Rostov region, relatively close to the front lines, and most likely this is the place where conscripts and contract soldiers from Moscow will be sent. So once again the training is happening as close to the actual Ukrainian front lines as possible. Well, now Ukrainians know it, this is after all already a publicly available information. The range of ATACMS they have right now, it definitely puts this military base within range. So Ukrainians, I would assume, they know what they have to do. And lastly, we have updated polls and statistics by surveys which were performed by the sociologists, asking Ukrainians what are the best ways they see the end for this war between Russia and Ukraine. So let's briefly talk about this right now. There are 3 new proposals. And guys, this is an extra chapter for my Patreon members, so if you want to continue watching and support the channel, because this is what keeps literally the Russian dude going, please go ahead and check my Patreon, link is down below. The best way to support my work. Guys, for this, Thanks so much. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if this was interesting, informative, or both. Useful links are down below. PayPal donations, Patreon, Instagram, merch. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.
All night long, Russian do